to work. Let's see if everybody gets home early today. What do you think? Hello. It's not weird, right?
Hmm? gonna tighten up my cart because every time I come to work. Sorry about the red. Someone unscrews it. Bolt.
It's all right.
I like your braids.
Thank you. I like your dress.
Oh, this is at least 5 years old. This is at least 4 years old. The only thing new on there are the sandals. I got them this summer and I've only worn them about 3 times.
Well, you better hurry up because summer's almost over.
I know, that's why I put it on. And I put the skirt on today because I had pants on and I got in the mud on my way to my water workout this morning. And so the whole bottoms of the pants were full of mud. So when I got home, I thought, oh, into the wash. No, what do I got? I don't feel like changing this shirt. And the great pants I ever have it too heavy. It's hot. Well, it's hot out.
Can we take that beautiful necklace off?
Oh, yeah. So then I stuck that. I thought, oh, I gotta have something on there.
And I'll compliment you every time you wear it.
And I like it. I really do like it. I'm telling you, I got it on.
I like all the stones. It's very pretty.
Me too, but it was on a table with a whole lot of stuff. Oh, good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Not, expensive, but just stuff that it said half price.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I paid $35 for it. $40 maybe, no more. But and there were other things too I could have gotten. I thought, I don't need that one I'm doing, but I did.
Are we doing highlights today or just?
Okay, so here my main concern is the color. Make me browner. Browner. So whatever it'll take, so that the blondes are highlights, and basically I'm darker. Okay. Because I think what's happening is that as it fades out. This is supposed to be like so, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so as it fades out, it's hardly any different as far as my complexion is concerned than gray would be. So let's see if we can get a little dark on the top too.
Okay.
All the way around.
So,
Will I hate
do you like the color that you have been? Because if we go any darker, your roots are going to be severe. So...
Well,
I mean, I'm not talking you out of going darker, but...
No, I know, because it used to be that I used to touch them up and everything, but I never have to do that. I mean, this is about as much roots as I ever have.
But darker, they're going to show more severely. Right now, they don't show it hardly at all.
I know.
So if we go darker, that's my only concern, is that they'll be harsher.
Right. Will it also be? I don't want it to be golden brown. I want it to be ashy type brown. Or whatever it is you can get like that.
What brought on the sudden color change there?
I don't know. I was looking at old pictures and actually I nearly brought something in with hair. I don't know. Every once in a while I fool around with stuff online. How to get this so that the ends don't stick up. But actually, I saw a thing online of how a lady blew it, but when you blow it, it doesn't. It's the information is for me, not for you. Now back there, I thought I liked it better as it grew longer. Remember, I had it way shorter. I like it better. I like it better longer. The only thing that I'm not sure about is this: can you not get this up higher?
Yes.
Yes.
We've been cutting it shorter.
I know.
You want it shorter even?
Just there. Yeah. Just
okay.
And then this can come down over it. So. Stacked, in other words.
Right.
Yeah, and a bit darker so that I don't look.
So do you not want highlights then?
Well, what'll happen if you do? Yeah, I do want highlights.
Okay.
So however you think.
Do you like it when I pull the color through? Do you think that's what we need to do, or you want to go darker?
No, I like it when you pull the color through. I think that's fine. I mean, the whole head. I'm not sure. That's a call that I need to rely on you.
Because I don't think you should go darker. I think you're predominantly white. And,
I know that. Yeah.
And if I take you darker, you're going to think in 3 weeks you need a retouch.
Really? Because I know in the back,
But if you want to come every 3 weeks, I'm happy to do that for you. But it's...
I don't know. See, but when I look at myself, I look at it in the back. It's absolutely white.
Which is why this is such a beautiful color on you.
Because whatever you think.
And I'm not trying to talk you out of something new.
No.
I'm just saying that it will. I think that if we pull the color through and maybe only do a few highlights, that will give you that chunkiness.
Okay, whatever you think, yeah.
Because every time that we go back in and do highlights, I think right before we do them again, you say that you're all washed out.
Yeah. Well, I'm not. I don't know if I'm not quite so badly washed out this time. You can still see differentiations
Okay.
here. Yeah. But maybe
Right.
maybe more in the back. I don't know. Whatever.
So even shorter here.
Yeah, I think so. So that this, so you know, I mean, yes, it is, I don't like it to angle up to the ear,
Okay.
but I think shorter here. The sides were growing down after I had you chop them up.
Alright. So what do you think here?
Yeah, a little bit shorter there too. Yeah.
All right. So
What do you-
more layers or
more
length?
layers, more layers
Okay.
rather than length.
All right.
More layers. There you go.
But longer here
Yeah,
and shorter there.
yeah.
Okay.
And if I'm out of my mind, just say so.
No. Well, the color thing I think is a bad idea.
Okay. All right. Then
And
I'll
that's
go
only
with it.
because, it's not, I don't like to use the word age, but
No, it's okay.
if we take your hair a lot darker,
The rest of me's gonna look.
it's gonna make you look paler,
Okay.
and it's going to show up. Right now you've got a 1/4 inch of new growth up there. If I take that even darker, then that 1/4 inch is going to look like 1/2 inch in 3 to 4 weeks with darker color because of your hair's predominantly white.
Right.
So that's the only reason I would
Okay.
not want to do that.
Okay. Well, I have.
What I can do though is like maybe foil in some darker
So, yeah,
pieces.
dark light, or whatever you call it.
hmm
Yes.
That is darker than the color that we use. I prefer to do something like that than to
Okay.
take your root
I forgot
color.
about that. That's another
Yeah.
option. Yeah. Right. Every month I get more guilty of magical thinking.
Well, no,
Photographs and
and
I say, oh, look
did
how nice
someone
it
give
looked
you
when it was brown.
an opinion about your hair color?
Oh, no, absolutely not. Just me. Nobody. I don't think anybody looks at me. I had all these social things to do last week, and I thought, oh well.
told
I said, if there's this terrifically handsome 75-year-old man who said, looks at me and says, oh dear, she needed her hair done, it's your fault. But there was no terrific looking 75.
my fault.
It's your fault, right? So, and this week I have a luncheon tomorrow. I mean, everything just jumbled up at once. I have a luncheon tomorrow. I have a class now on Tuesday afternoons. I had a luncheon, and I need to keep up I have my water things. I have all new exercises and so on, and I've got to get there at least twice a week. So and it takes like an hour and a half for me to go through the whole program. So then I have a luncheon tomorrow, fancy luncheon at the Washington Duke, because for something I donate money to a children's health, local Durham Children's and Family Health Program. I do that every year, so I get invited to this luncheon. So I have a fancy luncheon tomorrow. Then I have our 76s luncheon on Friday, which is this group of 80, 81-year-old ladies who, when we were 76, we started having fancy lunch 3 times a year. So that's that's Friday. Friday night is a holiday, but I will not be doing anything except being by myself. And Saturday I will have to go to the synagogue. Because I said the holiday continues to Saturday. Saturday night is all
You
over.
kids have a lot of holidays right now.
Well, that's just all at once, yeah. So that was last week. You see, I had those holidays, and I was invited to the Washington, to the forest, not the Washington, to the Forest at Duke, where my friends who've retired are, and they had a party and all that. So anyway, however, I look better than they do. So, and then I saw for the first time in a couple of years, a couple of women whom I've known forever. One of them used to live in my neighborhood. And they have Alzheimer's, so they're in a different part of the retirement community, but
Okay.
they were brought in for the holiday, and I thought, oh my God, I don't know, I mean, I looked at the expression on their faces, and it was nice that we had a separate room, somebody
You know
arranged
what?
it. But
I
they-
sometimes wish for Alzheimer's. I feel
but
like
you
it
know
would be a
what? I think the
vacation.
expression on their faces was one of confusion.
I think it
I
would
mean, the
be
two
great.
women whom I know, I know, but it's great that they do this. That they bring them in for the holiday. Because I knew this woman years ago. We used to carpool to Sunday school. One of them lived in my neighborhood, and then they left and moved to New Jersey. Her husband was cheating on her. Actually, the psychiatrist was no good. But anyway, they moved to New Jersey, lived there for years and years and years, and he died, and then she moved back here. I used to see her all the time. She used to come to our neighborhood parties, even though she didn't live there. And then suddenly she stopped coming, so another woman I know, who was her best friend, who used to also live in our neighborhood, I asked, and she said, oh, well, she said she doesn't even know who I am, she doesn't know who she is, and she's in the memory care part. So anyway, so here were these, no, you would not like it, believe me.
I kind of think I would.
First of all, somebody would have to take care of you. You got somebody lined up?
No.
Probably not. And it's not good. Not good, not good. So then next week, what do I got next week? Well, today after I leave here, I'll go get my new glasses.
That's exciting.
And well,
What color did you get?
they're black and dark blue on the inside.
That sounds
I
nice.
like, and they're shaped almost
I
exactly
like the black
the-
frame.
I do too, but Amy hates it. Susie doesn't like. Too bad. But anyway, so I was gonna just have the new lenses put in the old frame, and I thought, well, all right, I'll treat myself. Let's see what else. So the one problem I've had with those particular frames is that they slide, because of this little bump I have on the top of my nose, they slide down all the time, which I don't care too much, except that when they slide down, I don't see well out of the lowest level of the reading level, of those things. So the new ones are constructed a little differently. They're almost exactly the same though. They're constructed differently up at the bridge, and they won't slide down. So we'll see. And then I got, they give me like a 20% senior citizens discount. And then all of a sudden I got this email last week. One day only, 40% off all frames. So I called up and I said, I was here the week before. You did not tell me that I didn't have to do this week. I could have waited to the one day that you had
Did
the
they
40%.
give you the?
They said, well, we'll give you a 30% discount instead of your 20%, and we'll take the other 10% and keep it as a credit for next year when you come back.
Okay.
So next year I probably won't need new glass. There's hardly a change. Actually, I think what it is a correction of what last year wasn't right to start with. So you just pay a bloody fortune. In other countries, they have, the insurance pays for those things.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, Susie gets a new pair.
Well, my son got a new pair every year until Obamacare went into effect. And then they decided to do every other year.
Really? Well, now my son his insurance pays for that. Although they're about to start orthodontia, and he said, it hardly pays anything. It only pays $1,200. And I said, Dan, all three of you had orthodontia, for which we got zero insurance payment.
Yeah, I got like 1,000, I think, or 500 when I did mine.
Well, he said it's going to cost him $7,000 for each boy. I don't know whether that's minus 1,200 or it would be 8,200 for they didn't. I don't know.
I hope I have foils torn. I didn't even think about that earlier.
Oh, your braids are gorgeous.
Thank you. Sometimes I'm creative.
So in mid-October, I'm going to Philadelphia to see Amy. So we had a long talk. I'm not sure what she's doing. All I know is that they are all coming for Thanksgiving, including Jason, who's flying in from LA. She said it costs less for him to fly from LA to RDU than it costs for Claire to fly from Hartford to Connecticut to RDU, which is a third of the distance, 20% of the distance. And anyway, so he's coming, but she's apparently not going there again. She said that he needs to be by himself and he needs to get his head straight, which I'm sure is true. So, and I think she's getting some help, which is good. And she said all of them have lost 20 pounds each, a total of 60 pounds, all three girls. She's mad at Susie. She won't have anything to do with her. So the two, and Susie won't talk to her either, so the two of them are at loggerheads. So I'm the mother. I will just sit back and wait for all that to change. Your glasses are pretty. You always have pretty glasses.
I wear readers.
I was gonna say, you probably
My prescription is so low. I got suckered into a $500 appointment last time I went.
Yeah, well, that's,
And he talked me into contacts, and I said, nope, I really don't like them.
I love them.
I drove to work one day, and my eyes were on fire the whole way, so that was probably about the third time that I had worn them, and I was so particular with, it was like someone had poured soap into them or something. It was bad. So I couldn't see all the way to work. I threw them on the ground as I was driving,
That was it.
and my eyes were better. So
I wore contacts from
I
age
will
20
never get suckered into that again.
Well, I wore contacts from age 21 till about 72. Alright? I was still wearing contacts when Warren died.
I have the weakest prescription that known to man. So I'm 1.1 or
Oh, no,
1.0 and
no,
1.5.
You don't need it.
So I have had a lazy eye when I was a kid,
Yeah, so did Warren,
but
which was never
I corrected it by being a rebellious teenager
Well, that's good.
and not
So
wearing my glasses.
So his was never corrected.
So
And then he had, with the other eye, he had detached retina. So he never got, he had surgery twice. It was repaired, and 2 weeks later it detached again, or a new place detached, I don't know which, they didn't say. And so he had surgery again, and then he had special prescription with the prism built in, and and he was sure he was going to be the rest of his life blind because his father was. And so we had emotional issues that went along with all of this. At any rate, he never had, because the lazy eye, he did not have, he had, poor vision in the uncorrected lazy eye, and then the other so-called good eye is the one with the detached retina. So, at any rate, and when Amy she was 4 when we were in California, and I lied about that we were coming back to North Carolina that fall, and they had, where we were living, they had a free screening for upcoming kindergartners to screen for lazy eye. So I lied and I said she was 5. Nobody asked for any documentation. She looked like she was 5, and she was screened and she was fine. But it's an amazing thing because she never wore glasses. She never needed visual correction until she was about 40, 42 years old. And she's got the worst near vision of any of us.
well, I have the weakest. There's no way I'm ever going to.
But the distance is Susie's like Warren, although she doesn't have never had lazy eye. But Susie has like 6.5, 7.5, and now of course she has she's in her 50s, so she has near vision issues. But I got Susie, I had contact lenses when she was 13 years old.
I bought 3 readers for $15
Right.
on Amazon.
I was gonna say that's a lot.
And
You
I
could have
bought-
even cheaper.
I bought,
Yeah,
okay,
nice
actually I
stuff.
bought 6. I bought 1.0 and 1.5, and I was going to be my own obstetrician and pop one lens out. And it didn't work out.
Because you didn't need it
Because
for
they're so
about-
cheap, I think that I'm going to break the frames if
Oh.
I do that.
Yeah, see now I have just readers, which I wear in bed if I want to read in bed, because if I bend my head a particular way, I can't see out of my I can't see to read out of my glasses. I can only see because I have the progressive, so you can only really see. I mean, they're designed for straight on, not for holding your head in crazy ways. So, but the readers, with the readers I can't see anything straight ahead, but I can see the book fine. No matter if I lie upside down, I can see the book. So last year I splurged for those, and then I have prescription sunglasses, which I forget to wear. I leave them in the car, and every once in a while, usually like this time of year when I leave here, I'll put them on because I'm driving west into the setting sun. So I'll wear them, but I don't know, I don't think I wear them once a week. But I don't need any change of, and those are the same prescription as last year's ones, but the change is minimal. And I actually don't think, I really think it was just a mistake on last year's because the change is so small. but it did seem to make things better, the near vision. So, on that one eye. But see, one eye, when I had cataract surgery, so one eye is, I've got 20/40 distance vision, fine, and can't see up close. The other eye, when I had the other one done, I said, look, don't give me terrific distance vision, give me close vision, never mind the distance, because I want to be able to see my watch and see my cell phone without having to put glasses on. Fine, he said. So one eye I can read out of, really, the other eye I look for the distance, and then the glasses make the correction so that I have two eyes. But I love the contact lenses. I'm not going to tell you that they were comfortable. I would say that, but you know, they sort of prepared me for the bad back by being in pain for 40 years. I had all different kinds of them, and what happened though was that I could no longer get good enough near vision correction with the contacts. So I would have to wear glasses for near vision. I thought this was ridiculous. I'm not going to have your contacts plus glasses for near vision. You know, that's crazy. So,
Well, we're about an extra week out on your hair too, right?
yes, oh yes, yeah, I was supposed to come last week, but I'd forgotten. I've forgotten what the day of I can't remember why I couldn't come last week. I have to look at my calendar. My calendar
I
is
don't
like
like-
every single day. I don't normally do that, but I had made a mistake.
Not too often I say things like this, but I do not like the way the back has grown out.
No, I don't either.
I don't know what.
I know, it's like all straight and long down here. I know, so correct it. I have no control over how it grows out.
Well, it's not my fault if you meet an old guy and he says, your hair needs to be done.
Well, actually, the week
Well, it kinda
before,
is.
it's a funny story though. The week before I was there, they had all these parties. I guess, is that what it was? I don't know. It's some anniversary party at this retirement community, which, for people who just wanted, to hedge their bets and move in, and then as they decline over 15 years, they know they're going to be taken care of, but they start out okay. So anyway, so they have all these different kinds of parties. Well, people think I live there because I've been there so often. And the reason why I'm there so often is because my friends keep inviting me because they want me to make the decision to move in. Okay. Plus, the people who run the marketing have me on the list, so they invite me to all these social things as well, because for the same reason, because they want me to say, oh, isn't it wonderful here? I need to move in. So anyway, well, while I was there, I did in fact meet an extremely attractive man.
He is baiting you.
Well, he was very nice looking. I have no idea how old he is. He's a retired lawyer. His name, and when I was introduced to him, he said, are you related to, and he listed all the different learners there are around, very wealthy learners that there are around the country, none of which I'm related to. So, and then his name is Lehrer, I think, and he was a lawyer in the D.C. area, and I'm sure he's, who's rich. Anyway, I found out afterwards that his wife died a few years ago, and that she was really special. She was one of the institution's favorite people. She was an organizer. She was that. But anyway, I will say that in 10 years, this was the first man that even appealed to me. Let's see. Switch to that one. You know what? I'm staying put. I'm not paying too much to Verizon. I am paying too much to Time Warner. No, I'm not even paying too much to Time Warner. I'm paying too much to DirecTV. However, so that is where I've got to focus my attention. So I have a bunch of things I had to take care of in the last couple of weeks, and I've taken care of all of them. And now the next thing I'm going to see is how I can knock $40 a month off my DirecTV and still get what I want. Because there are other ways to get it. If I can't do that, I will just stay put until my son comes at Thanksgiving. And my lovely daughter-in-law said to me, Fran, just make a list of things that we can help you with, and when you come, I'll get Dan to do what he can. They never ask. I mean, they come and, you know, I mean, if I say, would you mind replacing that light bulb, they'll do it. But nobody ever volunteers or says, you know, when we come, is there anything that, you know, you need done that, you know, we can do? Nobody, at least Dan, Amy's husband used to always ask, but he stopped about 5 years ago. And I don't blame him. I have a perfectly good son who's there as well, but who never asks. So his wife said, you know, make a list of a couple of things. So he knows how to do it, to set up an antenna to get, so that you can get rid of cable, so that you can get the cable stations that you need cable for, the local ones. He knows how to do that because he did it at his house in Vermont. He did it when I was there a couple of years ago, so I'm going to see if he can do that. If I don't,
It's always the wealthy people that get free TV and internet. What is
Well,
that all about?
Well, he's not wealthy. Hardly. He's
I can't get
academic.
nothing free.
No, but he's smart. That's how he figures things out.
And people say, "Oh, go on this website and you'll get it for free."
Well, you know,
And
okay.
it totally freezes everything up that I own.
Let me tell you what I did yesterday.
Watch your toes.
I thought I was going to have to get a new cell phone. I got up in the morning. I always look at my email before I get out of bed. Put it down. Took a shower. Got dressed. Took it into the kitchen where I always put it. And I looked at the screen and I thought, the screen looks funny. It looks like it's got the camera thing on. No way could I get it to budge. I couldn't turn it off. I couldn't turn it on. I couldn't get the screen to move. Nothing. I tried. You know, all the things I could think of to do. Done. Dead. So, meanwhile, I thought, all right, well, let's think about it. What would happen if I can't even turn it off, so I can't, and it's got, you know, 98% battery, so there's no point in plugging it in, you know. And actually, I did try plugging in, nothing happened, so I thought it's dead, it's the end of it, and now I'm going to have to spend a fortune to get a new cell phone. So I have made my breakfast, ate my breakfast, and then I went and made the bed. And then I usually go into the study and take a look at my checking account and make sure there's nothing out there that shouldn't be there. And then I thought, well, you know what, I can get free, whatever, these Equifax, you know, all that stuff, I can get free credit reports. And I haven't done it in a very long time, so why don't I do that? So that took, I'm on my PC, okay? Well, that took, 45 minutes maybe, long time. Meanwhile, there sits my non-working cell phone. So I thought, well, while I'm here at the PC, I'm going to go online and I'm going to type in what's wrong with the cell phone, which I did. I only looked at the first 10 remedies, people who had typed in how to fix it. On remedy number 3, I did it fixed.
It worked. Oh, good.
So always look.
You know that
Go online and
the eye stuff locks up like that. I don't know.
I know.
What is it? The music player. What is it?
Well, that's what it was. But I hadn't put that on. It just automatic. I must have accidentally pushed something when I put it down, you know, on my night table in my bedroom.
I thought, wow, what a lot of money to spend on something that freezes up every 5 minutes.
Right. But if you go online, you can get all kinds of information. I tried to fix my old iPad, and actually I tried because there were instructions on how to fix that too, which worked partially, and then there was some major thing that you could do, and I decided not to do it, and then of course they only gave me a new one. So it sits there. But I mean, if I could type in, that would be perfectly fine. But if I have to put my password in, it'll, you know, I'll go L and it'll go 4 L's in a row.
Well, I switched to the Galaxy 8, and it is the worst
It's worse?
phone. I hate it.
Really? Because Susie has.
No, I don't have the 8. I have the 7.
I don't know which one. I think Susie
And
has
it
the 7. She
is-
loves it.
The spell, I don't know. Like, it will put spaces
Oh God.
in between
Well, that's what my
that.
my
Okay,
old
say
iPad
for example,
does.
I'm trying to spell the word that.
Yeah.
It will say TH space
Oh yeah, that's what
A and space and T.
Right. Well, that's what my old iPad does. So-
And-
or it'll repeat the letter 3 times.
For me, I'm thinking, how on earth could this dictionary possibly think that I'm trying to spell?
No, it's not. It's something. There's
That.
something wrong with the program. There's something wrong with the program.
So anyway, that is the new phone
Well,
that
I
I
will-
purchased that cost what, $600?
Oh, well, go and get your money back. Again, if you fix it.
Well, I've had it for a minute now, and I dislike it very much.
Yeah, but you ain't gonna throw away that amount of money. I hope.
Well, I guess I have to serve out my time with it.
Scott, how long have you had it?
Months.
Oh, go back to Costco and say take it away. I don't want it.
I didn't get it from Costco.
Where'd you say?
From T-Mobile.
Oh, T-Mobile. Go to T-Mobile and say take it away. How did you pay for it? With a credit card?
It's on a payment plan.
I know, but still, is it still with a credit card, or do you have to send checks? Because with a credit card, the credit card company can help you out. I have too many credit cards actually. I don't use them, but I have them, and I'm afraid to get rid of them because it takes down your credit score. And at some point, I think I am gonna get a
I
credit card.
live without credit cards. I do not own a single credit
Good for
card.
you. Well, that's good. I have things I do with credit cards and things I don't. For instance, I almost never use a credit card in a restaurant. 3 times over maybe 6 years, I've had a problem where I've never had it stolen, although I know people who have, but I've had double charges or somebody else's charge put in with my charge at different restaurants around town, so I pay by cash for restaurants, which is too bad because I get credit back.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah, I know. However, and then let's see what else has happened. I've had a couple of false charges on my the Citibank one, and it was the old number. But and because I have lost everything, you know that those have never been used. So where the heck are they? Underneath the lady's seat, probably, right? Or in her seat cushion in that Uber car.
I don't know. I think Uber's the devil.
Because what? I mean, anybody
I
would
think
pick
it's
it up,
gonna
they couldn't
be the
use it.
destruction of. I don't know. I think
you mean
Uber
it's
is
evaporated or whatever?
I don't know. Uber is something else. They're bigger than. They're as big as Google.
I
And
know.
they're a very
all
scary
over the
company.
world, yeah.
Very, very scary. The
All I
trucking
did was
industry is
ride
falling
in it.
into.
Yeah, but see, it cost me $25 to get to the airport on Google and $50 to get to the airport on a taxi. So it's
Well,
$100
and now
round
I
trip.
heard they do. What is it?
Well, they sometimes
they
charge
rate
more.
you.
Yes, they do. And they sometimes charge more. I know, because Amy, when I had the knee surgery, they charged her more because apparently it was one of their high traffic area times or something like that. I don't know.
So it's like baiting you to tip more. Because if you don't tip well, they're going to skip your house.
Well, I didn't tip the woman who refused to look until 3 days afterwards and then said, oh yeah, it's not there. And one thing I couldn't get her because she had her phone off. So we'll see.
Maybe she was thinking about using it. I don't know.
Well, whatever. It's at least none of it, but I have to watch. So I watch at least once a week, or not at
I
least.
think it's
now
very scary. You have
Once a week.
strangers picking you. You have people who are not certified in any kind of way.
Well, supposedly
Picking
they're
you up.
vetted. Supposedly they are vetted by the Uber and Lyft companies. Supposedly.
All right. Yeah,
I
I don't know. They're scary to me.
No,
My
I
son
understand
has
what you're
talked about getting an Uber here and there, and I'm like, I would prefer you not. I think someone who has a
saying. My kids
license.
do it all the time. Well, I mean,
I know. Everybody's doing
well, they
it.
do it
They
because
have
if they
Uber
go out
cameras.
drinking. See if they go out drinking on the Anna Claire, and they go
Far
out
be it from
drinking
me.
so
I'm a
they don't
negative
have to
Nancy
drive.
anyway.
Yeah.
But I just think, I think Uber is opening the door for people with no experience or little experience driving. And,
Well, the last one I had was terrible, but all the others I've had have been fine. It
and
just was-
potential rapists and
she didn't know how to. Yeah, well,
homicidal
that
maniacs
could be
driving.
with taxi cabs.
Mhm. They also track you from the moment you get out of the car to whatever destination you're going for several minutes after you get out of the car. I've done a lot of research on
Oh, really? I know about that. Well,
Uber. You can turn it off, but I don't think it really.
well, what I want to know is where is that little brown wallet with
Yeah, you
the
like that
credit
thing.
card?
You've had it for a long
I loved
time.
it. Yes, I did. With the credit cards and my ATM card. But it's never been used, so it's somewhere safe, I guess. but that makes me check. I mean, I have all the numbers, but it makes me check all the time to be sure that nothing is coming up. But Citibank, I've had Warren and I had the account from the '90s, early '90s, and a number of times when there's been a problem, they have contacted me 8 o'clock in the morning, check the 3 charges at the Charlotte at the Speedway or whatever it is. Are these yours? And I quickly check. No, these are not mine. They immediately take it off. A couple times I've had errors. A couple times I've returned things and they haven't been credited, and they instantly take it off and they file some kind of thing, and they've been very, let's put this, they've been very good about it. But that's the one that I use for frequent flyer miles. So the other one I use for cashback, the one I've been using, and when I switched to the Capital One, I use for that. And then the Amazon one, because it's easier, the Amazon Prime.
Here, let's cover up your dress so you don't get any color.
That's good.
Yeah, pull this over. That way, so you got.
So long.
Well,
I
don't
love
wanna
long,
drop
I
color
love
on it.
long skirts. I have always
I
loved
think it's
long.
beautiful.
And I used
It's
to
really
wear.
nice on you.
Yeah, I know, but it's not too fashionable. Or only ones I see where they're very young women with some fancy top, some funny top. Anyway, today I thought that was putting out. And see, my knee is killing. I did all these new exercises and it's killing. It wasn't killing me until I sat down. It only hurts ever when I'm sitting down. The minute I
You can
sit
get up and
down,
walk around if you like.
that's all right. I'm just stretching it. When I stretch it, it goes away.
After I get this color on.
No, I just stretch it, it goes away. But it's when I sit in a restaurant or it's at a table at home, it doesn't happen. But if I go, it sort of freezes up immediately. The minute I stretch it out, it's fine. I've mentioned it to the surgeon, he didn't seem to care. I don't know, if 1 year from now it still does it, then I'll ask him, okay, what's going on? Is this the way it is, or is there something the matter? But I mean, I can do all the exercises and nothing, and oh God, you should see the things, you wouldn't believe the things I do. All to strengthen the quads, to stretch the hamstrings, to strengthen the glutes, to help my pelvis to rebalance itself because it's structurally out of whack. And the idea being that if you can strengthen the muscles well enough, it will make it stable even though it's out of whack. We'll see. I've had others who have said this too, but never in the water before. And I really like this guy. He's really good. And in the water, you can do all kinds of things because the water cushions your joints. So the other day, Monday, he set me up with a whole new program. Totally new, but so far I haven't paid anything. I'm waiting for the bills to come. I think it's all covered by Medicare as coming from the surgery. I seem to remember my mother had physical therapy when I first brought her down here, and then they canceled it because she wasn't progressing. But he writes up this whole thing, that, you would think that the next step is I'm going to be an Olympic athlete. So far, it's paid for.
Well,
I don't think I couldn't afford to, well, I could afford once a month.
I know they did physical therapy with my mother, and they sent a new person every time.
No,
so
see, that's
I do
it.
have better insurance, I think, than my mom.
Well, it's not that. It's that I picked this guy, and it really had nothing to do with the insurance because I had been watching him for 3 years because when in that class that he's in there working with people, on a one-to-one basis as the aquatic physical therapist. So I've been watching him, and so I could see what it was, that he was doing that others did not do. So it took some doing to get onto his service, but once I got on, hey Terry,
Hello.
yeah, you got a nice man.
Hmm?
Who's the nice man? Who's that?
Nick, the owner.
Oh, the owner?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, he is really good. So of course one of these days I'll say, well, I got a better job. So meanwhile, I'll get everything I can from him. Today there were a couple other ones. Because I went this morning, I've been going actually in the afternoons. so busy in the afternoons. And Michael works till 5. But today there were a couple people I've never seen before who were not in the water with the patients. They stand on the edge and tell them do this, do this, do this. That's not the same. Michael is right there. I don't know why his skin hasn't fallen off. I mean, can you imagine being in that chlorinated water 8 hours a day, 6 days a week for your life? Because that's what he's. And he's there Saturdays too. You probably pay him time and a half or something. I think that they would have to. And then, wouldn't you think he would be, because he's in there all the time, that he would be a perfect specimen of manhood? Nope. He's got kind of, he's not heavy, but he's got kind of a belly, doesn't have a great build. He's been wearing for as many years as I've seen him the very same water shirt. It's got to be 4 years anyway. And I guess he has a motorcycle because today he actually left. He must be going out to lunch because I saw him actually put on a jacket and a motorcycle helmet or a bicycle helmet. I don't know which it was.
Most bikers have a pot belly and are fat
Why?
because they drink off beer all the time.
Uh-huh.
Every once in a while you see a skinny one. It's rare though. No offense against bikers, but go to a biker bar and check it out. See if I'm lying.
They scare me from the movies because all I know about bikers is from the movies.
I would say the scales would be in my favor.
You haven't been watching the Vietnam series, have you?
I watched.
Well, what's happened, however, is I didn't go to bed till 1 o'clock last night. I don't know. It so excites me that I can't
What are you
relax.
watching?
I've
What
been
is
watching every single night on public television. But what's his name? Series on Vietnam. You know, you were too young. I mean, it wouldn't. To you, it's history, but to me, I mean, the 60s were my time. And you know, I was having babies and learning how to be a faculty wife and learning how to be a.
I barely hit the 80s. Like, okay, so I grew up
Right,
in the 80s,
so it wouldn't
but
mean the same to you.
I
but
was a
it means-
kid.
Yeah, well, Susie was born in 61, and Amy was born in 65. So, I mean, like Susie, Amy would know hardly anything. Although they do remember when in 68, 69, we were in California.
But I grew up on MASH, and I
Oh, yeah, well, right.
and I watched
China Beach.
China Beach.
China
I
Beach
sure
is
did.
yeah. I've got it all recorded. Except
I'd rather watch that than what was it, Dynasty and Dallas and all
Yeah,
that
well,
other stuff
I
that was
watched
on in
that
that time period.
well,
If I want to watch people argue, I will just hang out with my family
no, this is
or come to work.
well. What's so interesting to me about this is there was so much of the political scene that I was totally unaware of at the time. I've known some of it since then, but not out there in your face like in this series. It'll be over Sunday's last. But in 68, 69, we were in California, and my husband had a meeting at Berkeley. You know, you hear about Berkeley in the news all the time. At Berkeley, he had something in the campus. That's not where we were, but so we put the girls in the car, and we were going to do something. We were all going to go on campus, and we were going to go into the town and walk around and so on. So we drove. While he was doing his thing, I was going to take the girls, and we were going to walk around. Well, first of all, we could hardly get near the campus. The National Guard and all its regalia and all the local police and everything else were all out there with the helmets and the Uzi or whatever those, I don't know, one kind of weapon from another, whatever kind the National Guard have. I mean, they were.
I've watched Rambo, but I don't know what kind of gun.
Well, they were all out there, and so we found a place to park the car, and then Warren had to walk into the campus for his meeting. But the girls, he said, sit as low as you can. He said, I don't know what's going on, but it looks very dangerous. So we did. Well, what it was Ronald Reagan was governor of California then, and he was flying in for some kind of meeting on the campus. And there was the rumors that there was going to be violence. So it was all there to
What was
protect
his deal? Anyway,
You know, I don't
he got
know if my
shot
girls,
and-
that Susie remembers. Now, I don't think Amy.
I don't
Amy was-
remember him getting shot. I remember him being
I do.
present.
Oh, I saw it. Danny was homesick in bed, and we had put a TV in his room, and he saw it too.
I was in like 5th grade, I think.
Yeah, well, he was born. He's older than you. He's 47. So, but he saw it.
I did not care about politics.
And
in
actually,
any way.
I saw.
I know Nancy Reagan, that was the year Nancy Reagan decided to put DARE in the classroom. So,
Oh, that's right.
Everybody.
Right. Oh, yeah, we drove to that actually.
teaching our young ones how
Well, let's
to
see,
mark out their
when
parents.
when Kennedy was assassinated, it was Susie's birthday, Susie's 3rd birthday, and my mother had already arrived from New Haven, and my father was going to be flying in, and Warren and I had gone to pick up her tricycle because we got her a tricycle for her birthday, and I sat in the car. He went in to get the tricycle, and I had the news on. It was 3 o'clock, 3:10, and I heard President Kennedy had been shot. And then, of course, we had nothing but the team. My father had a hard time getting from New York to Durham, and he got here, and we had scheduled a little birthday party for her, which we canceled. We were not in the mood, so we just had the family. Susie has a vague memory because my father had brought her a little red hat with a little Scotty dog pin on it. And the hat, I don't know where it went long ago, but the Scotty dog pin I had saved, and I don't know, a couple of years ago, I took it out when she was here, and I said, Susie, does this mean anything to you? She said, didn't Papa give me that? I said, he certainly did. There you go, did you like it? But I mean, then I saw, what's his name, I can't think of his name, shot on the screen right after Kennedy, the one they had arrested.
Jackson?
No. The one that was in the plot that killed Kennedy. I saw that right under. We all did. I mean, we had the TV on. My parents were sitting there transfixed. But Vietnam was, I mean, as I say, we didn't have, Warren probably watched, all the body bags and all the night news and everything, but I had babies. I wasn't doing too much of that because I knew what it was all about. I knew what was going on, but I didn't see it the way he did. And then 68, from 68 on, I was involved with the one thing we were in California, and thank God we weren't here because there was all Columbia going on at Duke. Thank goodness. And Warren kept getting these calls from North Carolina. What should we do? This is happening, that's happening, what do you think? And then I remember that the Democratic Convention, that was on last night. Anyway, it read me up so that I can't sleep. So we had taken the girls, the night of the Democratic Convention in Chicago, we had taken the girls, in 68, we had taken the girls to the ocean to have a picnic supper.
Right?
Okay, and I remember it was really cold because the big wind was coming in off the ocean and everything. But it was, really, we used to do this all. It was so nice up there. I loved it. I never wanted to come home. But we did that, and then on the way back, we had the radio on, and we started to hear what was going on in Chicago on the radio. But by the time we got home and I got the girls to bed and everything, then we were 100% focusing on what was happening to all these protesters, and the Chicago police were beating them up with the billy clubs. And, oh God! You see, that is, I remember that very well.
Yeah, but they're getting, history is repeating itself right now.
I know. Oh, it's
Because they're doing that in Charlotte and
absolutely.
and
History is definitely. I try to, every once in a while, if one of my kids says something, I say, you know what? We've lived through this kind of thing before, and it'll turn around. But it is something that is very real to me. Here, just keep calling when I put it down.
I'm
Very
listening.
cool.
I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. She has a mustache. That isn't nice. She's very pretty. The sustainability issue. So anyway, I didn't go to sleep until 1 o'clock last night, after 1. The thing was over at 9:30, and then it goes on a second time. You can see it twice. The one I recorded it. I don't need to see it twice, but I did record it. But I just sort of sat there. And that's,
I think that one's relatively new. I did the
Yeah, it is.
mustache.
So I just-
Sorry.
no, that's all right. I
I
haven't
was
seen one of
bored.
these. I haven't seen one of these in a while.
Just having a spiteful day.
Are you why?
Huh?
Why?
No, when I drew the mustache.
Oh, that.
I don't know who she is. I just felt like
No, just pretty eyes, though. Pretty green eyes.
just felt like doing it. Sometimes just being myself is all there is.
I haven't been doing my skin stuff. I just put moisturizer on, most of that. I don't know, maybe I'll start with that. It did work, I must say. Sometimes I think, what's the point?
I know. It's hard.
Do you ever feel that way?
I do. I went a whole summer without wearing any makeup, remember?
Yes, I do. That's true.
I haven't in a while though. I had to force myself to get out and do it.
I don't know, I haven't,
And I like the way I
penciled
look with it
stuff.
on, so I don't know why I don't.
I know, I like it. I put a little foundation in it. I got parts of 3 different ones. But actually, the one I like best is the cheapest one. But not every day. Some days it's different from mine.
phone working now? You got all of it.
Pardon me?
I said, how's your phone doing now? It's doing better.
Oh, I wish.
It hasn't locked back up since the other day.
No, my phone.
Your phone.
Fixed it. I'm telling you, I fixed it.
And what site did you go on?
I just typed, I Googled it. There's one I subscribe to, I guess, because I get all, it's called Livewire or Lifewire or something. But this time I just Googled what was the matter with it. Phone locked up, won't shut off or whatever, won't turn on and off. And all this information came. I said ways to do it. And of course I did it on my PC because obviously I couldn't do it on the cell phone if the cell phone was.
Is there a reset button or something? Or
I'm trying to think what it had me do. It had me do something that made no sense. The volume control along with the power, not the thing at the bottom, the thing on the side like to turn it off, push those two things at once. Bingo! What would the volume that thing have to do with it? Nothing.
I don't know. I didn't like that button that they put on there to turn the ringer off.
Well, I had done that, and I'm thinking that is really, and actually in my efforts before I had gone online to find out suggestion, I had moved that thing, thinking that's what it is, but that it wasn't to start with, but I'm thinking that maybe that is really what it was.
When I first got mine, I didn't answer a phone call for like months because I was like, God, why is this there? Or maybe not months, but for a while, and kept thinking, why is my phone not ringing?
Yes, because now, yeah, mine, because I have it rigged up so that my home phone rings on my cell phone as well, which most of the time is good, because this way, I can carry, if whichever room I'm in where the thing is, I can pick it up if I want to. Yeah. But anyway, what I'm paying too much for is DirecTV. So I gotta figure out how to get what I want from them. I don't want any of the stuff they give you.
You'll have to negotiate, because I tell you, Spectrum is uber.
Right.
I would not go with Spectrum.
Well, I've got Spectrum for my phone and internet. Okay. I've got DirecTV for the TV.
They're Time Warner Cable, really. I tell you,
I know
they are.
Yeah, I know they are. Right.
They just changed their
I was
name.
going to get rid of them because I had terrible internet service until they sent out some guy. Actually, I have his name. I mean, they farm it all out. It's not that they work for Time Warner Cable. So anyway, I wrote down his name because he spent quite a lot of time. He put in 2 modems, I guess. One of them, he drilled some hole down in the floor and went under my house. And blah, 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 I don't know what I want. Lo and behold, I get until recently, it's been perfect in the far reaches. Because, my house is like this. It's a ranch house. And my bedroom is at one end, and I had also, I thought, the modem I have is not located in the best possible place. I don't know why it's on my desk in the study because, it's not in a place to get the far reaches of the house. So he moved and brought this new equipment. All of a sudden this week, I'm not getting on my porch, which is at the far end of the one, on and off, on and off, on and off. So
I wonder if it's.
It's how much power they put out. See,
I've had a lot of problems this week too, so that's good to
all
hear
my
that
neighbors
someone else.
are.
You're in a different city than I live in.
But
So
I really think that it's Spectrum Time
I
Warner,
think the
everyone.
more people they're adding to Spectrum, the worse the
And then of course I
flow
was
is going
trying
to
to
be.
I was very nasty to some kid who came. All right, our neighborhood, we have 120 houses. There's only one way. There's 2 ways to get in and out. That's it, of the whole neighborhood. It's old. It's 1960s. That's the way it is. So at each entrance to the neighborhood, it's not like it's gated or anything like that. We just, over the years, I used to be on the board and so on. It wouldn't be nice to, have some plantings where you enter and just make it look a little nicer. So some people got together and did that. But anyway, so at the entrance, at each entrance, there's a little sign that says no soliciting. Okay. All right. So because it was very annoying to have these people come and ring your doorbell and and so on, and who knew who they were, and there were a lot of more older people than there are now, just me and maybe 2 others and everybody else. But who wants to be annoyed with it? So anyway, so
That's
we have
why
the
nobody
signs
has
that
a
say no
home phone anymore.
soliciting. Right. So all right. So last week, was it last week on the weekend? I don't know, a week ago. I actually fell asleep. I almost never fall asleep in the daytime. Never do I take a nap. But somehow or other, I fell asleep. And I had the dog. That's because I was getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning with my neighbor's dog. I had him for 5 or 6 days. And so I fell asleep. I hear the doorbell ring. Oops, up I get. I go to the door. There's this kid standing there with some kind of thing in his hand. I said, before I had a chance to say a word, I said, in the nice tone of voice, though I didn't feel like having a nice tone, I said, did you not notice when you entered our neighborhood that there's a sign that says no soliciting? He looked at me like this, and I thought, does he even know what soliciting means? Maybe not. I said, we do not allow anyone to come to ring your doorbell to sell something. He said, I'm allowed to do this. And he shows me this thing on a chain around his neck from AT&T that identifies who he is from AT&T. He said, this allows me to ring everybody's doorbell. I said, really? Does it? I said, well, I'm sorry to tell you, but you may find someone calling the police because our neighborhood has registered with the police department. I think that's true. I'm not quite sure it's true. But that's what it said. That we do not accept anyone soliciting.
It's dangerous in this
It
day
is
and age.
Of course it's
Why
dangerous.
would you open your door up to a stranger?
Exactly right. Exactly right. So anyway, meanwhile I figure, all right, I'm up and there's the dog who didn't make a sound actually when the kid came. He's a big old dog. So I said, all right, Taj, let's time for you to go. Let's go up for a little walk. So I got the leash. I got my shoes on.
You could make one of those badges online,
Yeah.
probably pretty easy.
Anything.
With a high-end printer and a laminator.
Anything.
Yeah.
So I start walking out. I walk down my driveway, and then I start walking down the street. There I see the kid going up to everybody's house. I said, did you not hear what I said? I said, you're going to run into somebody who's very angry. Actually, I didn't say anything. Yeah, well, yeah.
I can't believe anybody would knock door to door.
We've had
In this
a
day and
whole lot of years and years ago. We used to have.
Well, years
I used
and
to
years
be
ago,
mad at my
we do.
husband because is it the Jehovah's Witnesses or the Seventh-day Adventists? Whichever the ones is that they come, that they wear suits and they quote Bible verses to you or whatever. They used to come. Well, one time they came. Well, my husband he was a very unusual person in a lot of ways. His brain was very unusual. So, but I was mad at him for doing this. But anyway, so they came, this little group came to the door with the Bible and they start quoting to him, whereupon he knew not just Old Testament, New Testament, all that stuff inside out by heart, every bit. So he started quoting back to them other passages. And I thought, oh, for God's sake, Warren, what are you showing off? For these poor guys, they have this one little job to do. So I was mad he never did it again, but he gave it right back to them from.
Well, Jewish client of mine said, what right do people have to force that point of view on others? And I said, well, growing up, that's kind of what you were told you had to do, or your soul would be damned, basically,
Yeah,
if you didn't
religion
recruit
has
others,
something like that.
or if you didn't tell people about Jesus, basically. So she said, well, that's very arrogant, and people should not do that. And I said, well, okay, that's I guess that's okay. I said, but if you're taught your whole life that
That's what you
that
should
person's soul is in jeopardy, then you feel convicted to do that, and that your soul could be
kindness.
in jeopardy as well for not
Doing it.
for not telling them about it.
You know that reminds me. When I was in college, my 3 best friends were Catholics. Okay, and the girls, but I hung out with all these boys, all the time. My boyfriend and all his friends and so on. One of his friends one time, and I, they knew my 3 best friends and so on, but they didn't go out with them or anything, but they knew them. One time, one of Bill's friends, Howard Sussman, I can still remember. He came from an Orthodox Jewish family, and his family lived near the campus. He lived in the dorm, but his family lived near the campus. One time he said to me, "Do you know? I'll bet Mary is praying for you." I said,
The Catholic thing I don't understand at all. It's completely different.
I said, I certainly hope so. If she has any clout,
Right.
delighted.
Yes, if you're out there, and it's completely different than the things that I know about, so I can't speak.
Well, I used to go to church. They used to go. The 3 of them used to go. Sometimes they would go to confession. One of the local Catholic churches. They would go on Saturdays and then after that we would all go out somewhere. So, I mean, why leave me behind? Why should I stay behind in the dorm while they went out to the church, and then I'd have to catch up with them? So I would go with them, and I'd just sit there, wait till they were all, you know, I just sit in the church, and they would go to confession, to the confessional. Whenever they were done, you know, then we would leave. When Mary came to my house, she was very religious. She's not, hasn't been, I think, most of the rest of her life, but at that time she was. And so, you know, on Sunday when she was at my house at the weekend, Sunday I said, if you want to go to church, let's go. I'll go with you. Let's go. So we went. I mean, what is it to me? I mean, you know, just don't tell me I have to do something.
Right.
But you know, I'm perfectly happy that you can do what you like.
Yes.
And it's interesting to me to hear what other people
And
do.
I ask all the time about because the whole Christian faith is based off of Judaism.
To start with,
If it wasn't for the Old Testament, there wouldn't be a New Testament. So,
That's right.
you know, and the Christian community follows Judaism very heavily.
Well, especially
The Jewish calendar, the Jewish,
right, a lot of it
because it's all based off of what happens to the Jewish people.
Well, this is the only
Right.
the New Year and then the Day of Atonement, which is Friday night, Saturday. I do that from tradition. I actually somebody I know posted something rather interesting. She said instead of asking, and the forgiveness for your sins, which is Saturday, what you do on Saturday, starts Friday night. It actually starts on Rosh Hashanah. There's one passage, and then there's more of it, and it finishes up on Saturday. But she posted, this year what we should do is ask for recognition of all the good things we've done, and she had the whole long list and so on. But the thing about it that people don't understand, even some Jewish people don't understand it, but what I was taught was, we are not confessing to individual sins. We are confessing to that. We are asking for forgiveness of the sins of humanity against humanity.
Right.
All the sins, all the terrible things that humans have done.
I have a new
this year.
book too that I'm trying to
Oh.
understand more about
Oh.
it, because you know all the holidays have specific meanings, and
Yeah, well,
and
I
you know,
do this.
so
I do this and then I say the prayer for the dead, and there's no, you know, I mean, Warren, God bless him. He had his attitudes towards religion were horrendously screwed up because
I think anyone who grows up religious is completely
he grew up in
screwed
his
about
house,
it.
his household as well. In my household, it was my parents they didn't like anybody to see them on Yom Kippur, so they used to get in a car and drive to Hartford, which is 40 miles away, and go shopping. That's what they would do. They would say the little prayer for the dead, as respect for their parents and sisters and brothers who were gone. My father had the book, had the thing at home, and he could haltingly read a little Hebrew, and my mother would just listen, and they would say that, and then off they went. And they would not have, I would have had zero Jewish upbringing if it wasn't for the fact that I insisted on it, because the children I played with in the neighborhood that we lived in they went to Hebrew school, to Sunday school, and their parents went to the same way. And I said, I was 7 years old when we moved there. I said, I want to do it too. Look what they do.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, all right. So we did. So I went to Hebrew
I think
school.
that's that's sad about going to church growing up for me is the community thing that you guys had.
Well, except that my parents, never did want to be part of the community. I
Okay.
wanted to be part of the community. It was me as a child. And even, as an adult up to a certain point, and then I decided I didn't like the community. No, I do not want, I don't want a community telling me I need to do this, need to do this, need to do this, and what, you don't think that? You think something else? Well, no, we think something else. That's what I ran into when we came here. And so I was not, only the things that for my kids. They went to
Now this is a very
the things that the kids needed, and I was
control freak little area. We should run your life for you because we know best.
Right, and I could understand when we came here. There were very few Jews. The Jews that were in Durham anyway they were from the 19th century. They were all racists because they were Southerners who accidentally happened to.
Right.
As a matter of fact, the synagogue that we didn't drink till Susie was 8 years old and we came back from California. And I said, I think it's important that, she has some sense of identity. What's our identity? Duke University? Come on. So Warren agreed. So we joined them. that by that time we were already beginning to get the influx of people from the north, and it became more diversified and so on. But originally, when we first came, I still remember the landlord. We rented an apartment, and the landlord who owned the building happened to be Jewish. So he invited us when we first came to dinner at somebody or other's house because he wanted us to join the synagogue, which had only been built in I don't know, 5 years maybe. It was fairly new. They had something or other before that, but they built this nice building. And I can remember sitting next to the rabbi at this dinner, where the rabbi filled me in with all the racist things that any Southern Baptist, whoever, could have just as well said. And I said to Warren, that's it, we're done. I will have nothing to do with these people. And we didn't. I mean, she was a newborn, 61. It wasn't until we came back from California, and it was a different rabbi, and I said, you know what, I want her to have some kind of something or other, some kind of an identity. I think it's important that she do. She's the only one of my three who ever made a single friend at Sunday school with the synagogue. Neither Amy nor Danny ever did. And they had bar mitzvahs and everything. And we participated. I mean, I pushed Warren and told him keep your mouth shut. The things that you don't like, we don't have to, just let's get through this and let's enjoy it. And if there's some pleasure we can take from it. And my parents came and anyway, but
I think that's the thing I regret most about raising my son is that I didn't do that for him.
well, I did it.
And I should have
But I mean,
100%.
which is not so easy. And Dan, zero. When Dan was a freshman in college, I still remember it was Yom Kippur. We had our, you fast, so the night before, like Friday night, it would be Friday night, we would have a big dinner, and then you go to it's about an hour and a half, 2 hours service, and then you don't eat again until the next night. So we went to the synagogue, and he came home from school, he was living on campus, but he was here, and we had a cousin of Warren's had come from a distant cousin, was in the law school at Beacon, so we had invited him. Off we all went to the synagogue, and we were we couldn't get a seat, standing there listening to the service. All of a sudden, Danny says, I'm sorry, I cannot do this. I cannot be in here ever again. And he walked out. Because the synagogue was right near the campus anyway. He walked out, and he has, except for a few weddings that he's been invited to, that's it. And he will have absolutely nothing to do with it. Now, last year they came, and happened to be Passover. He came and brought the boys, and we had a little Passover thing. That was very nice. He liked it. The boys liked it. I liked it. Amy had come in by herself, so we had a little Passover ceremony. And I said, would you like to do that? And he said, oh yeah. He said, who's going to run it? I said, I am. He said, did you ever do it? I said, no, of course not. Dad did it, but I'm doing it I know how to do it. I'm going to do it. Which I did. So we had, and explained the symbols to the boys and so on. So there's that. And my daughter-in-law was, I think it was some I don't know, some Protestant one that her family, then she had gone to church or whatever it was, that with her family growing up, but she wouldn't have anything to do with it. And actually, there's a Unitarian establishment practically walking distance from where they live, and nothing as much as walking distance from where they live. And I said, have you ever thought about going in there? Oh my God, no, what are you talking about? Okay, keep my mouth shut.
I don't know. I think it's the whole organized thing that
It's the organized,
messes it up.
and that is what messes it up.
It's not the
But
teachings.
I mean, you cannot
the
deny.
knowledge is wonderful, but the
I mean, there is
organizations is what really truly puts a dent.
Well, it makes me sad about my kids. But, I mean, there are a number of things. I mean, we're not all perfect, and nobody ever turns out exactly the way you want them to. But what does make me sad about my kids is that if they are not carrying over some idea of who their ancestors were, it's lost forever. Now, and that was how I persuaded Warren, he said, to do this thing, with our kids, because he was just as soon as not. And of course, he could have done everything at home. As a matter of fact, with Danny, I did not want him to go to Hebrew school because it was a waste of time, absolute waste of his time. Because I knew what they did there, I knew how lousy it was, and so on. But in order for him to have a bar mitzvah, which I insisted, not Warren, I did, and he had to demonstrate a certain competency. So, because I was a reading teacher, I thought, this is a good opportunity for me to see how somebody learns another language with another alphabet and so on. So we got the materials, and of course Warren could teach him the whole thing. I could only teach the very beginning. That's it. That's all. So I thought, well, Warren's going to scare him to death, and he won't do it. But if I start him, he will. So, and exactly what I thought would happen happened, and he did learn. But how he did not learn the phonics of it. He learned to remember what the words look like, which is what I had thought all along was a major component of reading. And all these people who spend, endless years and years and years and years and years and years and years with the phonics, and the kids aren't progressing, are misguided. There's another way to do it. So anyway, so I got him started with it, and then Warren took over. So then he had to demonstrate. He got to be, I guess, 12. Yeah. He had to demonstrate. And of course, the people who ran the Hebrew school did not like that idea because they want you to bring your kid to the Hebrew school. They don't want you to teach your kid at home and then show up and say, look, here he is. But they did, and I hated the woman who ran it. But Warren brought him, and she said, she said he hasn't had the exposure he needed to have. He can't have a bar mitzvah. Warren said, ask him some questions. Watch what he can do. So,
Right.
and because he knew he was a good kid, he was just one of those good kids. That's his nature. He'll do what you want him to do. Only as an adult. And you've got to be 18 or 19 at that point. He said, this much no more. But so he demonstrated that in fact he could do what he could do, and so he was in the bar mitzvah class, and he had the bar mitzvah, and he got to liking the rabbi who he had at that time. He was very young. He was about 30, and he was a very attractive young man and really loved the young teen kids. And he said, I can remember him saying that the kids had to go to every Saturday morning. They had to go to the services, and the rabbi would do some fun thing with them. And Danny said, I think I would like to be a rabbi. He said, really? Yes. I said, what? He said, what is it?
Is it not bloodline that makes you a rabbi? You can just decide, like, be
you
a
have to go
priest
to
or
school,
something?
biblical school, and be ordained.
But
and all that.
it doesn't have anything to do with, like, certain people.
No.
Okay.
Anybody who can demonstrate that they can learn.
I know Old Testament, I think it says that you have to be of the tribe of.
Oh no, those to have
this or
to be
that.
able to conduct the service.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're the bottom ones.
Okay.
Nobody in our family.
Like the Levites and
Yeah,
the-
right. That's exactly. Wow, you have one.
I'm very good.
But you can still be right. You can still be an ordained rabbi. You just. So anyway, so I said, well, what is it that you like so much about being a rabbi?
I think if I had stayed around my youth pastor, and I moved around quite a bit, if I had stayed around that person, I think that I probably would have ended up being a preacher's wife or something, because that guy was incredible. Just walked into a room
It's a
and
personality.
yes,
But now let me tell you something.
everybody wanted to be
Well, let me
like, he
tell you
was such a
something.
dork, but everybody wanted to be just like him.
No, I'll tell you something about this Steve that Dan so loved. All
All
right, I will tell you something about this Steve. All right, so my neighbor across the street, his daughter, was the same age as Danny, and she had her bat mitzvah. It was maybe a month after his, and her parents had nobody. In those days, we didn't have these big parties like you had something at home, so they had a party.
Now people get cars and trust
Oh,
funds
don't even
and
ask. He spent $50,000.
$100,000
Yeah.
and
But we
parties.
had just little parties at home.
Paris
So
Hilton
she-
would show up
So
too.
she had the party at home. Okay. So Amy, who's 5 years older than Danny, so she was 18 when they were 13. So Bobby asked Amy if she would help out in the kitchen with the dishes and things because the thing was at home. So Amy said sure, and she was going to pay her job. Amy did all kinds of jobs. So what happened was, Amy is at the kitchen sink in Bobby's house, right across the street from me, doing the dishes, and along comes, guess who? Steve, the handsome young rabbi.
Right. With the schnapps in his back pocket.
From behind. And I didn't see it, but Amy told me about it. And I said afterwards, and I said something to Bobby about it, and she said, well, I hate to tell you this, it's not the first time anybody has ever said that about me.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate. So exactly what happened, he had a wife and several children, and I mean, he's still around, he still lives in Durham.
Well, I saw,
But he
I
had
see.
he had something for these young girls.
I see all kinds of things on the internet, and like I said, you can't be Christian without studying Judaism. You can't,
Yeah.
because everything about Christianity is because of the Jewish people. You guys were the chosen people, right? So I don't know. There's I forgot where my train of thought was going with that. It was an important thought too.
Well, maybe one of these days you'll meet some very nice man. Go to church. See if
Yeah.
you can't find somebody in church. I
Yeah.
told my next door neighbor who doesn't speak, well, she's speaking to me a little now.
There's
Yeah.
only like those megla churches here. There's
Oh,
not. You know what I would like to find? I would like to find an old country church like I went to, small, quaint, and
Yeah.
35 members, 40 members. That's it. And
You know, my niece was
that I don't think I'll ever have that again.
So
So
Warren's niece is a Unitarian minister, believe it or not. And she had a very fancy congregation in Cedar Spring, Maryland, but she's now moved to Providence, Rhode Island, where she's very happy. But I mean, her father's Jewish, was brought up in the same Orthodox home that Warren was brought in. Her mother was Polish, Irish Catholic, renegade, But they became Unitarians when the girls were little, and I thought they were obnoxious about it, frankly speaking. I have always thought they were obnoxious about it. But I've been to other Unitarian, a couple of my neighbors had events in the Unitarian church, I guess it is, not too far from where we live. So I've been to them, and it's a lovely philosophy. When Elizabeth was ordained was when Warren and I went to her ordination in Maryland, and we had all we could do not to be thrown out because we started to laugh. They had, what they do is, it's all religions, even Native American traditions, all good stuff, and the speakers all tried to, put together philosophies from all religions and so on. Well, they weren't terribly skillful at doing it.
okay.
For one thing. And then to start with, before anybody said anything, this is where we started to laugh. And I mean, Warren's not, I can be silly and laugh, but he was not like that. However, we were sitting in the first row with his family because it's his niece, was going to have this honor. And they had in the Unitarian church, they had these big banners of like Native American, the sun, the moon, the earth type banners. And a man came out, and he went over to each of the banners, and he did what we used to do as kids when we played Cowboys and Indians. He went, whoa, 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 whoa. He did this to each of the banners. Well, I started to laugh.
It's already very strange.
It was strange in the extreme. And Warren, I mean, he also started to laugh, and we were trying, but nobody should see that. We're convulsed in laughter because it was so funny. Because I guess when he was a kid, he must have played Cowboys.
It almost sounds pagan. It's terrible.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Well, they merge pagan things along with it. At least that.
I'm keeping my clothes on at church. Sorry.
They do all kinds of crazy things. And then there were that were, they were meant to be significant, but they weren't well done. They brought together things that shouldn't have been brought together if you knew anything about it. Of course, Warren knew a lot. I knew some. But anyway, and then Elizabeth sang an old Yiddish song. Why would you do that? And she has a nice voice, and she sang a cappella without needing accompaniment. She stood there and sang. It's a wedding song. Why? I mean, she was a magician in the Catholic Church, marrying whatever it is, the brides of Christ or whatever. This was this Unitarian. And then it was the
Well, I'm
congregation.
glad you told me because I don't think I'll ever
It was,
go.
well, that was that one. But then I went to this other one, which is near us, to a ceremony. It was lovely. It was really lovely. It was
I know
very
what I was
nice.
gonna say. So I watch a lot of weird stuff on YouTube, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I saw this story. Amoyle is the person who
It
does
does
the bris, right?
the circumcision.
Right.
Right.
So
if you do a ritual circumcision.
There was a guy, and I don't know if this is a made-up story, or if this is something that, because I seem to stumble into a lot of things that don't exist.
Yeah. Oh, you
But
get all kinds of stuff on
Where they, the guy gave the child herpes because I did not know that there's an old-fashioned way of doing it where they suck the blood off of the. That was so weird to
I've
me.
never heard of that.
I thought that was the strangest thing.
And I've been to a couple of ritual circumcisions when Danny was born.
I don't know that I would want to go participate in something like that. I think that's
No, it's
not
awful.
something you share with
the whole world.
Well, I know. Well, when Danny was born, we just simply,
But I don't mean to
announced
offend.
at Duke Hospital,
Right.
you know, please do and they were just doing it to every boy, no matter who he was. But when we got home from the when I got home from the hospital, it's normally done on the 8th day, okay? So I was in the hospital for, I don't know, 3 days. I came home. On day 5, Warren went off to California for 2 weeks. He had, because Danny was late, he had a project that he had scheduled it thinking Danny was going to be born April 20th. He wasn't born until May 7th. So he had to go to this thing for 2 weeks. So here I am, just home from the hospital with this new baby and two girls. Telephone rings on day 8, my father-in-law, Warren's father. He wants to know about the circumcision, about the bris. So I'm trying to explain to him, the baby was in this, I had borrowed from somebody, always wanted one of these baskets, you know, with the white eyelet things that, like curtains that come down. I always wanted one of those things. And some friend of mine who was German, actually, she happened to have one, and so she lent it to me. And we put Danny, who came home from Duke Hospital, in a carton, literally speaking, put him in this thing when I brought him home, and he was too big for it. He was enormous. This thing was meant for a much smaller baby. But anyway, so he's in this thing, and I answered the phone in the bedroom. My father-in-law, I'm trying to explain to my father-in-law, Warren is not here. No, we did not have the ritual circumcision, the bris, but we had it in the hospital, and my father-in-law's not understanding what I'm saying, and so all of a sudden, when I hear the baby crying, all of a sudden, my 2 little girls, ages 8 and 5, come into the bedroom. One has got the baby's head, and the other one has got the baby's feet. So they got them stretched out. So I forgot which one had the head, which one had the feet. And they are bringing this baby to me, and he's crying, Mommy, he's crying. So I hung up immediately on my father-in-law, grabbed this poor child, saved his life, read the riot act to the girls. You are not to take him out of that basket, no matter what you do. He belongs in that basket. I am the only one who can. So I never did know what my father-in-law thought. It was a night. And also we were moving out, so I came home. Like if I came home 3 days, I came home like May 10th or 11th, and we had sold our house and had to move out on June 1st, and Warren was away for 2 weeks, and I have a newborn and 2 other children, and how am I going to pack up? Oh God, I'll never forget.
Thanks, we survived, huh?
We survived. And also, Amy was in kindergarten, and actually she wasn't. She was in pre-kindergarten, the 4-year-old kindergarten, and it was the end of the year, and kids they had this thing that the kids could bring their dogs. If they had a dog, they could bring the dog, and they were going to have a contest with the dog. So of course, we had a dog. She wants to bring the dog. Well, what am I going to do? Number 1, in those days, you weren't supposed to drive for 6 weeks after you had a baby. Number 2, what am I going to do with the dog? Amy can't manage the dog. The dog, the baby, you know, I'm not supposed to drive and so on. So I had somebody who came in to help me for a couple hours every day with the baby. So I arranged for her to come. At the time we had to be at the school. So I got Amy and the dog in the car. Susie was in Hillendale School. I went to the school and I said, I have to take Susie out because she has a dentist appointment. Why? Okay? Because I had to have her help me with the dog. Off we went to the school, Susie and the dog, Amy, and I had to hightail it back because I only had Nellie to be there for a very short period of time because I had only arranged for her to be there. We have a picture of Amy and the dog, and Amy for all her life said that Parnell was the dog. Parnell won the prize as the biggest dog. That wasn't true. Parnell won the prize as the thirstiest dog. For years and years and years, she would argue. Finally, I found the picture that they had taken at the school and sent it to me, and there's the ribbon that says, thirstiest dog. Oh my God. Oh, I think about it. But, you know, Susie never had it. She did not want to have a bat mitzvah. When Susie was 5 years old, she was always different from she said, of course, we lived in a Baptist neighborhood. She went to the school around the corner. She wanted to be in Brownies, and she was told she couldn't be in Brownies because she didn't go to the Baptist.
Really?
Yes, only Christians could go. This is what she was told.
We were Bluebirds where I lived.
Yeah, Brownies. But she was told, and so she did. And actually, she
I don't
was
think
so
anybody knows what
ashamed.
that is.
She was so ashamed that said that she didn't tell me. she told that my babysitter, that Nellie, who was a black woman, she told Nellie what she was told. And Nellie was a smart woman, she told me. So I could, put
Right.
it into some kind of perspective, which was good. So anyway, but we were surrounded by all of this. So one time Susie said to me, Mommy, why do people go to church? And I said, well, people go to church to learn about God and to learn how to be good. And like appropriate thing to say to a young kid. So Susie said, well, I don't need to go because I know about God and I'm already good. That's what she said.
I had one person put it into perspective once, and she said, why is it?
What is so wrong with growing up that way, or learning that and trying to live your life that way?
Nothing is wrong. Could be wrong with it. So
I know. What harm
So
could it do in your life, or could it only improve your life, or would it make your life worse? And I was like, yeah, that's a great way to look at it.
It could make your life better. It depends on the circumstances. Why not? Why not? So long as you don't. I have no objections to any kind of religion. So long as you don't try to force it on somebody else.
I like that I can speak
That's
with
the
you
way I
about
feel.
it because
That's the way I feel
it's
about
stupid
it.
to argue.
Oh, well, that's a good
even
reason.
in the denominations,
Oh yeah, of course they do.
arguing.
Congregationalists. That's what my
Mhm.
daughter-in-law's family were. You probably don't even.
I don't
think
know
you've
what
heard
that
of
is.
it. No, it's actually New England in the city I grew up in New Haven. There were Congregationalist churches on the downtown green, and then my daughter-in-law grew up in Michigan, northern Michigan, and her family were Scandinavian. I think it's some kind of, I don't know, I never really thought too much about it. I think it derives from Lutheranism. It's a Protestant denomination, exactly what they believe. I don't know. And Susie went to a Quaker school for a year, a couple of years actually.
All right, stay up for me. I'm gonna lay the chair back.
And we were robbing Peter to pay Paul in order to pay the tuition. We thought it was going to be so wonderful, and it was a disaster. It was awful. Quakers are good people, but even Quakers, if they are any group that thinks that they have the one and only truth, and anyone who thinks
Anybody who thinks that they have,
goodbye, they don't even
my
make
whole thought about the not pushing it off on me is like if your God is the only God, the one true, why would you tell? Like, I'm so shocked about how few people try to tell other people.
Yeah, well, I don't
Because
know.
when you want everyone to know about the one true.
Well, I suppose. I think it's their mission to do that. To be perfectly honest.
Or at least just,
I don't really believe in God. But I believe in, I don't know exactly what I believe in. I don't believe in. I don't believe in the way that people believe. I just don't.
is that comfortable?
Yeah, I'm fine.
You just go through the motions.
Well, it's just a tradition. I do the thing that's the tradition. And I do it because I do believe that I have ancestors for whom this was extremely, it defined them, and whether they wanted it to define them or not, they didn't have a choice. It did. And for centuries and centuries and centuries, these are things that they did. And I just, out of respect for the fact that we all come from somewhere, if this happens to be where I come from, I will do the few things that I think have any significance or meaning. That's saying a prayer for the departed, is important to me. My kids don't do it for their father. One thing, nobody will ever say Kaddish. Say Kaddish for me, or say Yisroel for me. And I said, oh yes, they will. Well, knowing I was lying, and I said, don't be, of course they will. But they don't, I do. When I'm gone, nobody does.
I will.
It's
I will.
Okay, well, I'll sign you up. It's just that You know,
I know how to do it, but I'll learn.
I hate for the whole tradition to be lost, that's the thing. I mean, it probably won't be. I mean, I've got 5 grandchildren, one of them will. Josh probably, the one that Susie's son.
So what is the praying for the dead? What is
Oh,
that?
well, you just, actually,
Is that something you do
you just,
every
well,
day, or is
no, you just, well, at the burial, there's a prayer that you say. And then once a year, you say, it's a slight variation on the thing that you say at the burial. And actually, what it is, if you look at what the words of the actual prayer are, who would want to say it? If all it does is glorify God, it just glorifies God. But there are other parts that you can read about, thanking whoever it is that in your family, thanking your mother and your father, and in my case, it being my mother and my father and my husband for being in my life. And there's a nice little English thing that that I read silently, and that's all I do. There are lots of other things that are done by other people, but that's all I do. That's the part that I do. And I do say that one prayer in Hebrew simply because it's the one thing that, as I say, has been done for centuries. So that's what I do. I say it takes all of 60 seconds maybe, and then I say the parts having to do with my parents and my husband, and that's it. And then I go home. And I'm always sad, and then I get over it. And I'm sad because it's the memory. It's the memory of those who are no longer there.
pull this up? There you go.
Susie did a couple times in Australia, actually did it, but she does. Josh knows a few Jewish young people, but Susie once somebody from England and went back there, but she
Yes.
Amy is surrounded by Jewish people where she lives.
Yeah.
In Pennsylvania.
I don't think I knew a Jewish person growing up,
That's
or
what
that I knew that they were Jewish.
Yeah, well,
That's why I asked so many
Because
questions.
my daughter-in-law says the same thing. Neither did
I don't
any of her
think-
family.
yeah.
They did not either. None of them did.
So I knew a lot of Catholics, Baptists.
Well,
I was
I didn't.
Pentecostal, so that was an extreme. That's something I probably won't be again, but
See, I knew loads of Catholics because the city I grew up in was half Catholic.
well,
Irish and
I
Italian.
grew up in Texas, so everybody was Hispanic. Everybody was Catholic.
They're right.
hmm But
Well, it was Irish. It was
I went to
Irish.
Catholic church twice and didn't get it, and had always been told not to do it because of the idols and things like that. So for me, not that it's wrong, and who am I to judge? But
I don't care what anybody else does. As long as it's not gonna affect my life or the people I love in a
Right.
negative way or anybody else in a negative way, do it. I like it.
okay,
You
so
want to wear that stupid thing on your head? Be hot. Can't go in the water.
Right.
Like the poor Muslim women. I had rented.
oh, that
I
would
rent,
be terrible.
I rent all these foreign
The little
films because
slits.
I like to know.
That would
I
be
like
awful.
to know everything I possibly can, and I like to see what filmmakers do with these things. But there was one that it was very sad, really extremely sad. But it was all these young married couples with their children, and then they had one friend whose wife had divorced him, had left him, and so they were trying to fix him up with somebody. But anyway, they all went for a beach weekend. The point of it, I'm talking about this, is what they had to wear at the beach, the women. And I thought, how in heaven's name can you enjoy the beach or the sea or anything with all that on? They were, modern, in every other way except with what they had on.
Okay, so we don't want to angle this up. We want to
Sort of, square.
taper it in the back, but we want the back to be square.
Right, you got it.
Okay.
The end, the
And don't want to
Well-
cut the crown too short, and don't
No.
want to leave the sides too long.
right. Do you dread it when I come to all that?
No,
There comes the
No,
crazy
not at
lady.
all. No. And we've given you some really crazy lady haircuts that have looked great.
I know. Oh, I
So-
like it. Remember when we had it on Eva
I
one
would
side?
never call you crazy lady. That was a
Well,
joke.
I know.
Of course.
Well,
No,
it's okay.
no, you're not at all.
You know, as I get older, the older and older I get, it's really funny how your face changes. You know, the things fall and you get less padding and all that. So parts of my face look like my mother. And other parts of my face look like my father. It's really funny.
I think you know what works well on your hair, and every
Yeah, I
time
do.
you
I
know.
only wish as I say, I have a fantasy life. I live in magical thinking. You know about magical thinking is when if you think it will happen. Well, once in a while.
Yeah,
I
I've
get
heard
carried
this
away.
philosophy.
Once I get carried away once in a while, and but I always know that that's what I'm doing.
It's kind of Hinduism a little bit too, right? Like projection into
Yeah,
the universe and.
yeah, well, you know, to me it's, you know, to think it is to make it happen, but I know perfectly well that is absolutely ridiculous.
No, I do not judge you at all. I think you're great. A great human being.
Crazy lady that she is, a vain.
No.
I will have to confess to my vanity on Saturday morning.
No.
I will. Well,
This
I will.
isn't vanity.
I am.
This is.
It is vanity.
Look, hair's the only thing you don't take off.
No.
Everything else you can change, but I mean, you can change your hair, but you don't take it off.
Look at, you know, have you noticed Trump lately? The golden thing in the front is no longer golden, it's gray. And I noticed last night on the news, and there's a whole lot less of it. And I'm sure he must have had a transplant. Because I have a friend, and a woman I know quite well, about 2 years ago. I mean, she has an old sick husband, but she's much younger. Anyway, she went to Atlanta. Apparently there's some specialist in Atlanta who does, she had like brown curly, not too curly, but wavy hair, and it was getting very, very thin on top. And she had the transplant, and for months she wasn't allowed to touch it or do anything to it, and it looked horrible, absolutely horrible. But it's been, I guess, maybe 2 years now. Anyway, I saw her last couple weeks ago on a Sunday. I saw her and I thought, oh my, how nice her hair looks. It actually grew in. It looks really nice.
Watch
So
your toes.
poor Trump, however, Trump's is god awful.
I don't know what to say about that.
I'm sure that's what it was. He would be bald on top. He must
I've
have
only
had
seen one person who admitted to having plugs, and she was and it was
It's
a girl.
very well. So this my friend
And
said
she
it
was
very
very
painful.
smooth in some spots and didn't grow well, but then in other spots it was, you could not tell at all. And I couldn't tell that she had
Well,
plugs.
Andrea's because of the fact that it's wavy, it was very wavy, almost curly hair.
Mm-hmm.
It did very, very well, and it really looks. You would never know.
Well, there were some places that were just as bald as could be, and it was kind of shiny and smooth there, but the rest of it took really well.
Well, hers just looks like it all just grew.
And I thought you had to take medication for the rest of your life.
I think so. I think you're right. Cause it's
And this
transplant.
person didn't. I think that's why hers got smooth and shiny
Oh,
in
I'm
some
sure Andrea
spots.
does
Yeah.
whatever it is.
And I was like, that's so interesting. I've never seen anybody in all
Hers
these
is
years.
Really good, but for months and months and months, it was horrible. It was really awful. But I noticed with Trump, I saw him on TV last night, that which used to be this sort of orange color
Mm-hmm.
is now like grayish color.
That
And
will
they're
look a lot better on him.
much better.
Yeah.
Much, but the orange was awful. And then it doesn't
Orange
look
yellow is really ugly anyway.
like, I know, and then it doesn't look like somebody dropped something on his head, which is what it looked like. Long and raggedy,
Long and raggedy.
but sloped, so let's slope it that way, yeah.
Okay.
The bangs too, like so.
Alright. Now here,
Yeah. Yeah, just let it all come in together,
okay.
can it?
Are you?
there, I don't know,
So
whatever you think
at
you
one
can
point
do.
we were trying to go back, and then you
Yeah,
said just
give it up.
forget about it.
No, the only thing is, I like this,
That part.
if that goes back, it gives me more hair where I
Okay.
need it, back there. So I don't need a whole lot in front, on the sides, I mean. It can be, you know, finish on the sides in order to get it thicker. Back. Yeah, I know, I'm crazy.
Alright, watch your toes.
I'm,
I feel bad. You know I didn't mean anything about that. Alright, look straight down. I think your hair is not a vanity thing.
yeah, it is. I know.
No, it isn't.
I know it is. I will say that I wish that all my life I had been doing these exercises that I'm doing for my PT, because it has most definitely improved my figure. And I don't need to be 8 years old to have an improved figure. It would have been very nice to have it improved at 25. How do you see it? Right.
It's so long right there. I don't know what
I
happened.
know, I don't know either. I was wondering that myself. I mean, I had to do, you know, a lot of work to get it to roll, to, you know, have any body to it over there.
So that now, yeah, the people are supposed to go Mexico City. And so with the earthquake.
At the Center for Women where I go, you know, for my PT and all the classes, it's a gym, really, but it's a medical gym. Well, not entirely, and people go have no medical reasons to do that, but anyway, let me tell you, you see women's shapes like I have never seen. So bad, so, I mean, so, you know, that's a judgment call, and I should be better than that, but, I mean, I have seen some things, I wonder how they can, even, I mean, it's not their fault that they're like that, I wonder how they can even get clothes to fit over them, and I've seen a couple women with the largest backsides I have ever seen in my life, and the rest of them is not, it's just like normal size. And it's like they have, you know,
I have those women follow me around a lot.
oh, but I mean,
They no longer have ankles.
it's their backside.
I don't even know how you can get to where you don't have ankles anymore
Well, Susie said she
without
was gonna,
having a congenital heart failure.
or something, because they're so swollen, you know, water retention.
I'm the biggest I've ever been, and I have ankles. So I
Well,
can't
it depends
imagine.
how
I
you put
can't.
together,
Yeah, I can't imagine how you
But
can lose
I
your
mean,
ankles.
you would not believe what some of these women really look like, and I feel so sorry for them. Especially the short ones, the ones who are short, and it looks like they've got like penguins, except from the back, they have nothing but a huge backside, this big. How can they carry it? Must be, you know, how can they carry it around? It must hurt. Must be wearing them out. My father's family, women tend to be kind of built big bottoms, but nothing like that. And I was always bottom heavy, but that's the thing, not like that. Not to the point where it looks like a deformity.
Okay, I know we're leaving this long, but
Yes, so it'll come
it's
down.
so heavy that it's not going to fall right. So I'm taking a little bit out
Okay,
there.
fine.
It should melt right into this bottom though.
Okay.
Speaking of bottoms.
Speaking of
That was a bad joke.
no.
Can't always be 100%.
I could really, go without glasses. I've had 20/40 vision, which is the best my husband ever had after he had the detached retina. So he had a driver's license. Didn't drive. And one eye I can see up close. So, however, and
Just do the old Popeye.
I mean, look, you see that I can see. You see that I can read. I just got into the habit after
I eats me spinach. I don't know. I can see, but I can't see close up.
Let's see. Look, I can't even see. You want me to read what's on that bottle? Why am I paying all this money for this glasses?
I don't know. That's how I felt completely ripped off when I bought those contacts.
Yeah.
And I knew I was being ripped off the whole time. I let him rip me off.
Oh,
He's
I
like,
did not
he's
want-
like, it's only an extra $25 to get your contact exam. And then I was like, yeah, that's $25 more.
Well, see, I'm nearsighted. Until I had the cataract surgery. The cataract surgery corrected the nearsightedness in one eye, and I could have had it corrected in both eyes, but I didn't want to. But I mean, I needed to have some correction. So when I was 21 and I was in Europe, my college graduation present from my parents, with my friend who had graduated a year before and had been working for a year, and the contact lenses were new in the United States then. We lived in New York, and she had gotten contact lenses in New York, and she had nothing but trouble to the point where her eyes were fiery red and she couldn't wear them at all. And she was absolutely blind without glasses. I mean, she couldn't. I remember when we were in Italy, we went to the beach, and I had to hold her hand because she couldn't see where the water was and where the beach was. That's how blind she was without her glasses. At any rate, so she knew the name of the place to go to in Germany to see what was the matter with her contact lenses. So when we got to Munich, we went, and she was told, do not wear your contact lenses. Your eyes are badly irritated. You may have infections. Wait till you get home and go and see your doctor. So she was very upset she did that. But there I was with in those days I wore sunglasses all the time. Prescription sunglasses, because that was how I could see, and it didn't look like I was wearing glasses. So the person there said to me, why are you wearing sunglasses inside? And I said, because I don't like to wear glasses and I need to be able to see. Next thing I knew, I had bought contact lenses and walked out of there with the contact lenses. I didn't know how to put them in. I didn't know anything about them. But Doris did, because she had the ones from New York. And when I got home, of course, and I had wanted them, and my parents had said no. So was their money I was spending as well. When I got home, I said, look, I've got contact lenses. So my mother took me to an ophthalmologist in town to make sure I wasn't making myself blind forever. And he said, well, they don't fit too well, he said, and I'm sure they're very uncomfortable, which, were they? He said, but they're not going to do you any harm. If you want to wear them, wear them. So I did. But over the years, I got, more comfortable ones and so on and so on. But oh my God. Anything not to have to wear glasses. But when I was a kid growing up, teenager, where I grew up, the worst thing that could happen to you was that you would have to wear glasses. And girls were not attractive with glasses. That was what was thought, I had little enough going for me as it was. Never mind having the glasses. So I used to always have them with me, and if I, wanted to see who somebody was, I would quickly take them out and stick them on and put them back. So I have the contact lenses.
No, it's never been my.
They were not. I would not want to say. Sometimes they were more comfortable than others.
These were like 30-day wear.
Oh well,
too.
see, I never had those. I had the old-fashioned hard ones.
Yeah.
I never had the soft ones. My son and daughter-in-law wear contact lenses. They have this one.
I'm thinking bacteria that must be in somebody's eyeball who wears a contact for 30 days.
Well, I never had. I only once had eye infection, and it was because I caught it from my granddaughter. But in all those years that I wore contacts, I never had an eye infection. I did have a damaged cornea once. I damaged a cornea one time where I was married. when I was living in New York after I graduated from college. I was living in New York, and I had some friends and I we went to a show, and then I had a date at night, and I had them in too long, and the dates they stayed out really late, like 3 o'clock in the morning. By the time I got back home, I could hardly get them out. They were like glued to my eyeballs, and I knew what to do. And fortunately, my roommate, poor Judy, I said, Judy, you gotta help me. I'm in terrible pain. I alternate hot and cold compresses all the rest of the night until the pain went away. I've known that woman since we were kids, and I remember talking last time I saw her, I remember we thought it was about 5 years ago, when we were carried along the way, and things like that, contacting her all the time. I was reading said to do the bangs first when you start with the dress, do the bangs first.
Always.
I never do that. I always do it.
What? I haven't told you that.
No. But you told me the other things about not holding it and
I always start with the bangs, but I just kind of, I guess
never
we've
noticed.
been together so long that
yeah, I never noticed. But I saw that on that video.
yeah, it's if your bangs dry funny, it's hard to recover from that.
I know.
And don't leave your hair up in a towel until it's dry.
No, I never do that. No,
Because, yeah,
no.
it will be-
No, I put it, as I get out of the shower, I have this thing that, I don't know, like one of my grandsons does. I stick it on my head for maybe 5 minutes, take it off, and then take the excess water out. It's a towel type thing.
And here I try to
And I'm watching, yeah,
comb all of that forward
right,
so that you don't have a part. You don't always have a part.
right.
But then you like for this
Right.
to go back.
Yes,
so
I learned that from you. It gives it a little more lift.
what do you think about the color?
What? Good.
Well, that's completely redone.
Okay.
Everything. There's
Everything.
some darker
Okay.
pieces in it.
Okay, good.
I don't think it's a good idea to go darker everywhere. I think you'll be spending too much time. I don't mind, but I think it's not good business to just take somebody's money, you know.
Right. No, I got it.
And this is a level darker than what you were, but it's only put in there kind of nearly. And then we did root to end everywhere. Only a couple of line pieces.
Okay. It's not that I don't like the blonde pieces, but I don't like it that an old you look up in the blonde because I think it's awfully close to being gray.
Well, going to the pool a lot pulls the color out.
And I don't put my head in anymore. I don't understand. I do. No, of course the glasses go along me, whatever. But I haven't been doing that. I was in theory where I thought I'd swim again, but after it hurt my back and to do it, I couldn't get in the correct position. The physical therapist said, if you want, I can show you what to do if you want to put it together. Let's just concentrate on the rest of this. I can swim well enough if I'm in a situation where I'm drowning, I can save myself. Can you swim? Karen, can you swim?
What? Can I what?
Can you swim?
Yes. My ex-husband couldn't, so I made sure Evan could. Spent a lot of money down at the Blue Cross pool. Keep paying for Evan.
Oh, right, right. Well, my kid loves it a lot.
What I couldn't do in years, some little teenage girl taught him in minutes. I was so mad. $65.
Right. Well, Warren never had any problem. But he could, I mean, he could stay afloat and he was very comfortable in the water. Oh, that's great. Yeah, okay.
Right? I think that was a better decision than
Right,
going darker.
absolutely, absolutely.
Got a lot of contrast.
Yep. Well, Warren, I mean, if he could swim going to the pool underwater, he could do all kinds of things, but he had no stroke or anything like it looked like he knew how to swim, but he could swim.
I am an incredibly bad business person.
You are.
Let's keep you out of the chair as long as we can.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
No, it's really
business
good.
person.
It's really good.
It looks nice. I like it.
Yeah,
That was
I
a
like
good,
it.
good
Good
call
decision.
on that darker.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay.
So I think what happens is it either gets too heavy
Yeah.
because you either get, I don't know. We can't do it every time though. It gets too frizzy.
Right. Yeah.
But I think this time.
Yeah. I watched a video on that. I saw some man that actually it was very, very interesting what he did. He made like a V shape. He was someone with much longer. He called it short hair, but it wasn't. It was all this, it was like a bob, all the same length, and it was maybe to here. And she wanted she wanted some height at the crown, like I do.
Mm-hmm.
And so he had this way of cutting it. It was quite interesting. So that
Well,
it wasn't shorter. It just he did something like this,
Mm-hmm.
and then he did what you're doing now to underneath it. But she had lots of hair.
Well, and that's what you have to. If you use these, you don't just. A lot of people just go in there and start.
That's what Cindy wasn't good with that. I think
She just
messed it up.
all
Right.
over the place.
Right.
Well, you have to put another haircut inside this haircut, or it won't fall. Right.
Well, that's
Shorter hair directs longer hair always. So if you don't cut that shorter hair to make the longer hair fall a certain way,
Right.
then you've just got a frizzy hot mess.
Well, as I was watching it, and I saw what he was doing, and she, of course, she was a model or something. But he was cutting the underneath hair in some way to make it. But he had this, complicated thing with clipping it up, but she had a lot of hair, so that he could get that V that he wanted in the back.
Alright.
Yeah, I like
What do you
that.
think about that?
Yeah, good, really good.
Okay. I'm gonna blow out that loose hair.
Really good.
Bangs are good.
Yes,
Cut
very
well?
good. Very good.
Well, in all these years, I cannot believe that is not something I told you. I always start with the
I
bang.
never had. There's never something that just let them be.
Just figured.
Just dry however they are. 'Cause you know what it is. When I use any product, I invariably get some here and it makes them too thick.
Well, if you don't, I mean, if you don't even fix the rest of your hair, you should dry your bangs.
Right, and that's what.
And that's what'll keep them smooth and
Right. Because
don't put too much
and
heat
you
on them.
can
so
see,
you don't burn up.
I mean, they weren't smooth when I came in. They want this piece wants whatever it is I do. This piece wants to curl up.
We've got a straggler. Let's get it.
Oh, nice.
Wrangled
The
up.
color's great. I like it.
Let me get that. Okay, you like that profile?
Yes. Oh yes.
So you have some blonde back here.
Right. I like
not a
yes,
lot.
but not a lot. Yeah. It was the front there.
So you pretty much have like 6 to 10 darker foils, and then you have 3 blonde
Okay.
highlights.
Well, I think that that's going to work really
Okay.
well. Thank you for your skill.
Thank you for your being you. don't think your haircut's crazy at all. Look how beautiful it turned out.
Yeah.
Just put some hairspray.
Fashion,
started.
fashion show and lunch tomorrow.
Yeah?
Fancy schmancy. Yeah. Yes, as I say, I give a donation every year to this Child and Family Health Organization of Durham, the city of Durham. And one of the people who run it is a neighbor of mine, so I've known for years. And she always gets a table, so she pays. I really don't have to give a donation if I don't want to, but she pays for a whole table of 10. She's got means to do that, but I always send a donation as well. So I don't know if the others do, but I do. Because it's a very good. Isn't they really a pretty?
It is very pretty. Don't leave it behind.
Oh, okay.
You might see me wearing it somewhere.
Yeah, maybe I will.
Just kidding.
I'll see when I wear. And then I had this sweater. Do you know what size this sweater is? This is a size small, this little sweater. I've been sitting there in the drawer the entire summer. It sat there in the drawer last summer. But what has happened is I didn't like it because I didn't like it, the rolls here, but they're gone. I haven't lost weight.
I don't know.
Why are they gone?